Hello, so today let's talk about core alignment and breathing for more energy. And these are two easy tips that executive moms can use. So, basically, two easy tips to boost your energy. And we are going to do this by addressing how to align your core and how to breathe properly. And for some of you, this may sound like a lot of jargon or difficult words, but I'm going to simplify and break this down in the video. And let me just introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high stress executive jobs to manage their spinal, that is, back and neck, and nerve pain, despite low energy levels and brain fog, and which is lack of focus. So I do so by giving you simple exercises, some easy lifestyle modifications, some tips and tricks that have worked in my own pain and adrenal fatigue journey. Those of you who know adrenal fatigue know it has a lot of symptoms, but the major ones that I had were lack of focus and low energy levels, and that's why I addressed these. So today's video specifically is about low energy levels, so how to boost your energy. And I have realized with my pain and adrenal fatigue journey, if your core is aligned properly, or if you have a strong core, and it is basically the cornerstone, or actually the central pillar of how everything else in your body works. And if you are breathing properly, these two things will really boost your energy. Anyway, I will not beat a dead horse. So let's move on. So, if you are an executive mom, you're balancing a demanding career, your family life, it requires a lot of energy on a day to day basis. If you have fatigue and lack of focus, that can creep in. It's a part of your mom life, but if it is sort of taking over your life, and it is not letting you do your everyday activities and your roles and responsibilities, whether at work or at home. This is something that you want to address. And really, it is not a big, it's not a very difficult solution. And that's why the topic for today's video is two easy tips. So let's have a look at it in today's video. So, your core, let's talk about core first because it's linked to the breathing. So your core is not just your abdominal muscles. Usually when people think of core, they think of the six pack abdominal muscles, the very nice sculpted abdominal muscles. However, your core is not that. Your core is the deepest layer of muscles in your body. Now in this case, we're talking about the core of the spine, or the spine, the vertebrae that are stacked on top of each other. So basically all the way from your hairline down to your tailbone. So you have little muscles that are running. It's a group of muscles. So there are some muscles that are running from one vertebra to another. There are some that are really huge in size. So they can be very varied. So let's look at this. So if you see me looking away from the screen, I'm just looking at my notes here just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Now, let me give you some examples of a core. So if you are looking at your lumbar spine, this is your lumbar spine in the middle, and you have your pelvic floor down here. So that's where all your reproductive organs, your uterus, etc., are resting. And then this is on top is your rib cage, your thoracic spine. So that's where you have your diaphragm on the top. On top of the diaphragm, your lungs, heart, all the thoracic organs are sitting. So basically, your chest is sitting. And then you have your abdominal, deepest layer of abdominal muscles that is like coming around like a corset around your abdominal area from your spine to the middle of your abdomen, like that. So think about it as a cylinder. It's got a top, diaphragm, bottom, which is your pelvic floor, and then it's got this wraparound kind of a corset around your spine. So that is like a rough outline of the core in your lumbar spine. Of course, you have core muscles in every joint, but this is the one we are addressing right now, just to give you an example. Now, what does this core do? It stabilizes your spine. So suppose I am reaching out to pick up an object from the side here. So when I do that, when I reach out, my spine has to be stable so I can reach out. Otherwise, what will happen is if my spine is not stabilized, I will actually sway all the way. Right? I will not be able to stabilize my trunk for my arm to do the movement. So I know this is a bit of theory, but I'll come to the practical aspect as well. So when your core is properly aligned, it is engaged, your core muscles are active, Your core can stabilize the spine. It can support your posture. So you're in a good posture. You're not swaying around. You're not slouching in a poor posture when you're sitting at your computer or doing any work on something that's in front of you, say you're cooking or childcare duties. And it also minimizes strain on other parts of the body. What that means is that when your core is strong and you're able to do these activities, other muscles don't have to compensate for the lack of strength in your core. Um, if your core is not strong and your spine is not aligned, what happens? You get neck pain, back pain, nerve pain, all kinds of aches and pains in your body and discomforts as well. So over time, these aches and pains can drain your energy as your body works harder and harder to just maintain those basic function, the basic movements, right? Now, let's talk about one of the core muscles that I referred to earlier, which is your diaphragm. Now you, if you look at your chest and your, okay, you can't see me here, but if you look at the chest and the abdominal area, there is a big muscle sitting right along the lower part of your rib cage, and that is known as a diaphragm. So think of a big huge mushroom shaped muscle or a parachute shaped muscle, which is like a dome shaped like this. I mean, it's small, it's more spread out, but it's like a dome shaped muscle. Your lungs are sitting on the top, your abdominal organs, your stomach, intestine, everything is down here. So it divides your body into upper and lower part. Now, what happens is because it's sitting right under the lungs, when you breathe in, your lungs expand, your diaphragm moves down, more like a piston. If you remember your physics from school, and the car engine has a piston. Anyway, let's not get all nerdy. So, and when you breathe out, your lungs will go back, they will shrink back to that size, so the diaphragm moves back up. So there is a movement in the diaphragm. Now what happens is you cannot actively use your diaphragm. Like if I think I want to expand my diaphragm, I can't. But if I say I want to breathe in, like for example my wrist, I can actively move, right? I don't have to think about it. But a diaphragm, you can't just actively move. However, because it's associated with that lung function and that movement, when I breathe in, I can actually move my diaphragm. When I breathe out, the same thing, I can move my diaphragm. Now, why this is important is because your core muscles usually, in most of the people, some people are different, but as most of the people, all your core muscles will work together. So if you activate your diaphragm by using your breathing, you will actually be working out your other core muscles as well. Of course, you can do pelvic floor exercises, your Kegels, and there are lots more exercises. Kegels is just a popular one. You can do that for the pelvic floor, so that will activate your core muscles. But breathing is something you can do anytime, right? I mean, you're doing it all the time, but how can you activate your, align your core and activate your diaphragm or breathe properly? So, I just put breathe properly in the topic of this video because if I said diaphragm, it'll get too technical. Anyway, so how do you engage your core? You can sit or stand tall, and you can ensure your pelvis is in neutral. So basically, you're not tilted forwards or backwards. Imagine your belly button is being pulled towards your spine, right? And you're not holding your breath. Like I'm doing it right now, I'm not holding my breath. Now, this gentle engagement will stabilize your lower back. It encourages proper posture and reduces that strain and conserves energy because end of the day, we all want that. We want our energy levels to be optimal. Another thing, how can you do the diaphragmatic breathing that I was talking about? So you place one hand on the let me just see my screen. So you place one hand on the lower part of your chest area, so around where your rib cage ends in the front, and one on the abdominal area. When you breathe in, let me just move back a little. When you breathe in, you want the hand on the chest to be moving, and you don't want the one on the abdominals to be moving a lot. So you breathe in. I don't know if you can see it here, but my hand in on the chest is moving. The one on my abdominals is absolutely stationary. So this is not something that's very easy, especially if you've been an abdominal breather all your life. But this is something you can attempt and at least activate your diaphragm with. So especially in those times when you're feeling that lack of energy or that energy slump, try this diaphragmatic breathing. It does help. Just looking at my notes to see if we have. Of course, you can also engage your core with exercises with pelvic tilts, so seated pelvic tilts or cat and cow stretches and things like that to keep your core engaged and your spine mobile throughout the day. Okay. Now, I have a free guide that is called 10 Easy Desk Based Exercises to Strengthen Your Core. It's a checklist. Actually, it's a guide that is designed for busy days when you don't have time for exercise. You can just sit at your desk and do those exercises. So, quite simple, discrete exercises you can do sitting at your desk, and you'll be able to activate your core. I think. It's one of the good ones that I have come across. I know I've made it myself, but this is basically a set of exercises that I found useful when I needed them, and I still do them. So I have a blog on the same topic as today's video. I will leave a link in the description of this video, and you can have a look at that blog. It has much more on the core. There are other videos I've done on core, so if you want to know more about it, and the diaphragm as well. And that video will have the free the free guide that I'm talking about on the desk-based core exercises. Alrighty, if you have any questions, any comments for me, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you out. Alrighty, I'll see you guys next.